I honestly don't think that we have ever been educated like we have today. I mean, come on, guys. Today has been one of those days where we were listening to the case of Jacob Zuma and look of Jacob Zuma versus against the IEC. Guys, I've never seen such such a well-crafted and strategic argument like the one we have been watching today. Today we've been witnessing one of the argument, and today I got to like the law. Wow, wow. Today the argument was just about technicalities. A small line and a portion, like a small line and a portion, but wow, wow, wow. Oh, guys, I've never seen such. I was impressed with everything that was happening. I'm just opening my thing here. Guys, I've never been so impressed like I was today. Now, if you look at the argument of today, guys, we argued something very sorry guys, I know you were not seeing me, but if you're looking at the argument of today, we were arguing something very, 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 very interesting. And I'm sorry, guys, you were not able to see me, but I think now you are able to see me, right? So today, guys, we argued the argument of today was about just about two things, just two things out of everything, two things. Uh, I will say this again. What an argument! What an argument! Wow. Guys, I will continue to tell you. When I meet Jacob Zuma, the day I had a time to sit, or the day I will have a time to sit with him, with that man, there's one thing I've learned about the Jacob Zuma is that he doesn't take defeats the way we take it. He doesn't interpret defeats the way we do. Like he's got a way of looking at this thing and interpreting these things. If you look at what brought us into today's situation, it was something that happened long time ago. But the way I looked at it, is that he planned it. That I'm gonna have to find a way around all of these things. Like today we were arguing a smaller than a portion in the look in everything. We were arguing just this one. One, was Jacob Zuma sentenced 15 years? Did he serve 15 years or not? If you say no, he didn't serve 15 years. Look, 15 months, not years. Sorry, guys. Did Jacob Zuma serve 15 months in prison? If you say no, then how many months did Jacob Zuma serve? You say 3 months. Then automatically you are saying he must be included in the ballot paper because the IEC law says to a person sentenced to at least for a minimum of 12 months and above. So Jacob Zuma only served 3 months and then there was a remission. That's where the argument was, right? It was about that because if I would look at the defense, the Toby and all the stuff, if they concede that Jacob Zuma served 3 months, then that's why he had difficulties in admitting that whether or not Jacob Zuma served a period of 3 months. And then Ramaphosa issued that letter where he says, nope, I'm taking away everything. You are now forgiven. That letter coming from the president. So that was the argument. Now, there's nothing much in the argument except that, and the second point. All the other things that were argued then, we were just trying to run away from the consequences of this. I've said this and I'm going to say this again. There's one thing I've learned about Jacob Zuma. Jacob Zuma has taught me this. He thinks for every defeat for this man, he's got a solution for it. Today, remember that there was a time where I said, according to Mzwandile Mbeje IAS from SABC, there was a time where he said Jacob Zuma will never be the president, right? he will never be the president, right? And then there was this IEC thing that says he's not going to be on the ballot, he's not going to be on parliament, right? So looking at all those things, it created a dilemma. A dilemma that I even said to you guys, I think then the next president then will be EFF. I see the relationship that's going to happen between MK and the EFF. Then automatically there I see this guy Malema being the president. But today's court proceeding taught me that, you know what, with Jacob Zuma you can miscalculate things. Just when you think you have it all under control, then boom, Jacob Zuma throw a twist. And one thing I've learned about Jacob Zuma is that he doesn't need much to explore. I read a comment that says, we are in this because, we are dealing with Jacob Zuma, the master of chess game. For me, I've learned this. With Jacob Zuma, no matter what is happening, you will never rule that man out. Never. He's always going to surprise you. Today, I don't think even most people, I don't think they were aware that Jacob Zuma was going to come today and argue just the issue of whether or not he served the 12 months that is required. What is PINA? What is PINA into this whole thing? And I told he struggled. Even the IEC lawyer, they struggled. They struggled to counter the arguments thereon. They struggled. What I was impressed. I was impressed with today's court proceeding. I was impressed with the fact that how is it that they just looked at this loophole, a small loophole, and they exploit it to the best. Like, look at what is happening today. It has changed the perception. It has changed the dynamics, right? It has changed a lot of things. I've never. Yeah, you know what? I'm interested to hear your comments. For me, I was super impressed with the strategy. The strategies about Jacob Zuma and obviously working in hand with Udalimpov, right? I was super impressed. My impression was from a strategic point of view. Remember the words from Uvustembewa when he says, we can disagree with Jacob Zuma in terms of how he governs the country, but there's one thing you can never disagree, and you will really have to learn from Jacob Zuma is Jacob Zuma, you will give him credit. He is a strategist of note, right? That man, it is true when they say that man, he is always 5 steps ahead. Yo, guys, today's argument. I was so impressed that I couldn't even do other things that I was supposed to do today. I was like glued into today's case just because we were just arguing the technicalities. And then I read a comment where somebody was saying, Toby, they are going to lose this case on the basis of small technicalities. Just did you listen how advocate Dalimpov, how his closing argument. He's saying this argument, guys, is saying, right? The Constitution says, if you have a right to vote, then you have a right to stand in parliament. I'm like, he's saying, you see, in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights supersedes all other constitutional rights, right? And I was like, these guys, like, so in other words, we are saying, if you say Jacob Zuma is allowed to vote, then he's allowed to go to parliament. As per the Constitution, it says if you have a right to vote, you have a right to stand in parliament. I'm like, wow. God, I'm so impressed. I can't even put it to words. My impression is just this Molanyana thing that they exploit it and it expanded and it becomes something big. But it's something that a lot of people prior to this, the so-called journalists, the so-called political analysts, and everybody, nobody was talking about this. It is as if the MK and the legal team were like, wait a minute, we have a surprise for you guys. Today I'm super impressed. I don't know why, but I want to read your comments as well. Let me see if I can see your comments, guys. I am super impressed with the way everything has been argued. Victor Ndlela, Viva, look, Viva MK, Viva Msholozi, Mushle General. Msholozi will win this case as always. Apostle SM Mbata, Viva Msholozi, Viva Richmond Mkize, Viva MK, Viva Mthombo Gazulu, Otige Loko Mhlanganyelwa is already won. Amandla MK Amandla. Umbuzo lokho uthini umbukiso BTV remission meaning the cancellation of debt charge or penalty. Yeah. Today advocate advocate Talimpofu, he even quoted in Bible and say even in the Bible when they spoke about you being forgiven and the remission of your sins, they are saying, whatever have happened from then until now, we get it. But from now going forward, everything of yours has been cancelled. So Jacob, hi guys, I wanted today it was impressive. Let me continue. Here, global news. Zuma is the president of South Africa. Two-third majority. Global news. Black people are free. Global news, DA is dead. Global news, ANC is dead. Global news, IFP is dead. Apostle Esmbata, uti wow. Apostle Esmbata, I. Global news, EFF must explain his relationship with Msholos. That's something very that guys I wish I will get an explanation for, because there is that relationship between MK and EFF. I can't put it into words, but there's something about that. Right. There's something about that relationship. Right. Let me hear what people are saying. Keystone Ndokunira, I need MK t-shirt. Yeah, guys, who has got MK t-shirt? There's a man who's in need of it. Myself too, I'm in need. There's this beautiful one, guys, that has got white t-shirt, the greenish blended nicely. To those that can, please, guys, look, if I can see somebody that stays around Spread View, somebody around there, then yeah, I can easily pass by and collect one. Please, 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 guys. I need one. I would love to get one. Guys, I was so impressed about today's court proceeding. I was impressed with what was being argued, the technicalities. Wow, sure. Okay, let me read people's comment. I'll come back with my awesome. Malema is a liar. Malema was on the forefront of the Zuma resignation scam. Global news, there's no land under EFF. Malema is playing it all chat. Ufezekile Mpumela, no, he won't win. There were two things play in this case. He was pardoned, and there is a difference between pardon and exhument. Right. Please explain the difference thereon, because from what I understand, the IEC says if you are sentenced to, what is this period? For a period of 12 months, right? And especially without a fine, right? Then you are ineligible to stand in parliament for the next 5 years. You can't until that sentence expires, until 5 years expires. But then the argument was that Jacob Zuma did not serve, that he only served 3 months and then he received a presidential pardon, right? Because of that, the argument is, yes, he was sentenced. Yes, he was convicted to more than 12 months, but he didn't serve it. The technicalities is there. And the IEC says, we will not accept Jacob Zuma on the basis that he was sentenced to a punishment more than 12 months. And then the lawyer says, but he didn't serve 12 months. He was pardoned. He only served 3 months. So what are you going to say about it? I'm interested to hear your thoughts about that, because it's quite interesting. Jay-Z is a master of chess, a born leader. You know, speaking about chess, yeah, I've gotten to a point where I appreciate the chess game. I appreciate the chess game. Okay, global news. I doubt that Malema will vote for land expropriation without compensation. Siyabonga Mpanza Msholozi Johannesburg Uti. We are seeing you now. Thank you very much. What was the judgment on MK trademark? No, the judgment has not yet been handed down, right? We are still waiting for that one, but we haven't heard anything about that. Nothing, nothing. That I can confirm because I'm following. We haven't heard anything about that, right? Patrick Laboya, Inkunzi, look, Huida. Okay, yeah, I get it. Global News, I hear you. Lawrence Koza, Viva Msholozi, our president. Global News, Msholozi, not Marozi, not Msholozi, Marozi, not Msholozi. Global News, I said Marozi, hey. Kiston Mira Utiga, I am in Zambia. Please, a t-shirt send for me. Okay, that means you will have to courier his t-shirt, guys. I believe it will get there. Look, Utogozan Zondo, these fools must leave Msholozi alone because they are they have failed dismally. And look, is dying. I think it meant ANC is a dying horse. Togozo Mbata, ubiza loko malini lo mmeli ngimqashele untanze. Hey, advocate are very expensive, but wow, yeah, his argument. I think he will charge you 50K per day. But yeah, no. They brought something to court, something to talk about, something to smile about, something to, I mean, when I was looking at everything that was happening there, from a layman point of view, I was impressed with everything, but also I was kind of like wow, lawyer. I kind of love the profession, the law profession, because today it gets. What can I say? To me, I learned the importance of having lawyers. You know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't have thought about it, right? But I also appreciate Jacob Zuma's wisdom. That man, because it takes a person who reasoned like Zuma to work with a person who reasoned like Mpofu to see these Molanyana gaps and exploit that Molanyana gap, and it expanded into something big. It takes somebody with a certain capacity or certain intellectual capacity to realize that. Let me finish your comments before I can continue. Look, Umbugiso BTV, MKP has won this one already. Closing argument for Dalimpov was superb. Advocating Toby and his friend were finished today. They had no case at all. I felt the same thing that kind of like they were like, you know what, the way they were arguing. Even when Advocate Toby was arguing, I didn't feel this connection like I felt when who Advocate Dalimpofu was arguing. When Advocate Dalimpofu was arguing, you kind of feel like, yeah, hey, there's somebody who's talking now. You understand? He commands my attention. He commands my, you know what I'm saying, my ears. But when Toby was speaking, I didn't feel that. Hey, Bafetu, yer. What was your observation? I'm gonna read your comments, but let me read this as well. Big up Advocate Dalimpofu kusho uNkululeko Shabalala. Thokozani Maseko, Viva Msholozi, Johannes Puti. I've been asking myself if lawyers realize that Jacob Zuma did not serve that 15 months, and why use the law, the court and the IEC to continue such an old man. Every person has the right to vote or to form. I get you. Umbugiso TV would decide. Dr. Njabulo Spanda, time for dictators is over. Even judges, iloko, inkungu ebe imbeswe bona isisugile. Father of nations knew that there was no case. They tried to debt him, but labalahla. Thank you, Advocate Dalimpo, for being you. Mkhateni Richard Maswanganye. Bongan, we need Mr. Mpofu to send some mayor for all the actors. Yeah, yeah, mama. Yeah, that guy is expensive. When I'm Maswanganye. That guy is expensive, guys. Yo, that guy is expensive. But I was super impressed with everything now. Um, now, so in today's court proceeding, in general, I think personally I've learned this just analyzing who Jacob Zuma in general and how he thinks. Let me remind you something to qualify what I'm about to say. You remember what has led us into this situation, today's situation, where Jacob Zuma now we have to argue his sentence. Somebody once say, okay, this is what happened. Jacob Zuma was supposed to appear before Judge Zondo in the state capture. Now I'm using in bracket because it's always attributed to Zuma, but it implicates even Ramaphosa. So you know what I'm saying. So that's why I'm using inverted commas. But then something that also that I've realized that from then again, Jacob Zuma made treat him, and then they ended up arresting Jacob Zuma or sentencing him. Just when they were about to sentence him, I listened to a professor from the University of Pretoria, if I'm not mistaken. He said, Jacob Zuma, we have fell for his trap. We were not supposed to arrest Jacob Zuma because now we are no longer allowed to question him over the state capture because we have sentenced him, right? So, in other words, Jacob Zuma has tricked them into the corner that they found themselves in. Once they were there, look, it was then the Bona they thought sending him to prison was a victory. Gandhi, Jacob Zuma was finding a leeway, you know what I'm saying? And out of that leeway, he knew what was going to be the problem in the future. But then it's like this man anticipates a lot, which speaks of his chess game abilities. Because that's where you learn that this man is always anticipating the next move. In fact, on this point, right, of anticipating the next move, I am allowed to quote the man himself. I've got the video here, it's just that I did not prepare everything enough. There's a video where Jacob Zuma was interviewed by SABC. Then he was speaking about the journalist asked him, or the presenter asked him, sorry, why do you love playing chess? And he said, chess help me to prepare and to strategize and to anticipate what my enemy could do to me, right? So it helps me with that anticipation. He was speaking about also people that he has played, opposition that he has played with. He said that he played with, at some point he was playing with Umpegi. He was even saying that guy is very good in chess, by the way. You understand? So now I think in all of this, we are seeing that mindset, that ability, yeah, look, of playing things like you are playing in a chess game where you are getting beaten and beaten, but you are not focusing on the lose. You are focusing on the smaller weakness of your enemy. So the point that I was driving you guys to is this one. The way I'm looking at Jacob Zuma and how he does things, it's kind of like Jacob Zuma goes into a war with 5 soldiers, including himself, up against 20,000 people, soldiers. There are strategies that we are going to defend as much as we can, but when we have defended, look, as we defend or as they are busy beating us, our focus is to look at study their weakness and look, when we start hitting you, we will hit you once and you will never forget us. That is the strategy, at least that I've seen Jacob Zuma applying. As I am following this man, the thing that keeps me glued to Jacob Zuma is the fact that is the ability not to be predictable. You can't predict Jacob Zuma's next move, never. You must look at look how things are done on social, look on media, the analysis, the political analysis, and everybody. Have you noticed that there has not even ever since I started paying attention, I've never even seen a single one political analysis or presenter being able to predict Jacob Zuma's move, right? Others will even talk about how he loses cases, but he takes the very same loss and make it to or turn it into his advantage, like the case of today, right? We have seen him turning it into his own favor today. Nevertheless, I will say a lot. I want us to debate also the EFF. You know what I'm saying? There's a relationship between Jacob Zuma and the EFF. Now, I want you to just for a moment think about the EFF, how they think. There's something about EFF and Jacob Zuma. The thinking, just focus on the thinking. I will touch on this right now. But let me propose something. Oh, Ulo, who's this guy name? Umbek, we are told, at least allegedly, that he was involved in the formation of ECOP. What if I submit my allegation that what if Jacob Zuma was involved in the formation of EFF? And I'm going to substantiate why I'm saying that. I am seeing some similarities somewhere, the thinking, the approach of things. I'm seeing a similarity there. But nevertheless, let me read your comments for now, and then I'll come back. Let me hear what other people have got to say. I'll definitely come back to you. The last comment I read was Masangwa. Yes. Jonas Potuti Mpofu is biblically correct. Vusindlovu, let's hope bazolunga. Let's hope uzolunga kusasa. I can't wait to see Jay-Z on a ballot paper. Viva Mkhonto wesizwe, viva Global News. Oh, you can't read Zulu. Oh, you can't read Zulu. No, I don't know if it's me, but guys, when you are reading things here, reading things like this, it's always a difficult thing to just, I don't know, you'll notice even with your news readers and all the stuff, it's always difficult because you must interpret this as best as possible and as fast as possible. So it's always a difficult thing. But nevertheless, okay, let's continue. Umasangai, no, my guy, I will pay. I will pay those guys. Never been in this person. Well, Masanga, Richard Masangani. Remissions mean that you are now in a position as if you have never seen. Theology, Jay-Z received remission. Wow, let's talk about this, right? Because the proposition that is being submitted by Johannes Uti, remission means that you are now in a position as if you have never sinned. That's what theology, by the way, would say. Theology says that if you are forgiven, we are quoting theology because even Advocate Dalimpofu today, he quoted theology. Theology says when Jesus forgives your sins, right from the time where your sins are forgiven, going forward, you are clean. You start on a clean slate, right? From the day you are declared that your sins are forgiven, you start on a clean slate. That was an argument that was brought by Utalimpo to say, listen, Jacob Zuma was forgiven by the president after serving 3 months. So you can't you can't calculate the months that he didn't serve. And he then brought something even in the constitution and said, listen, there was another judge president, I think in the case of N division, who said that when your sins are forgiven, when you receive a reduced sentence, he made an example that if it was 18 years and you receive your sentence reduced by 2 years, everything, your status changes. It means now you will serve up to 16 years if you were firstly sentenced to 18 years, right? And when he brought that citation, this is the implication of it. It means that if Jacob Zuma was sentenced to more 15 months in prison and he was forgiven in 3 months into sentence, that you can't include the months that he didn't serve. In other words, he is eligible to stand in parliament come May 29. That's the proposition, or that's a submission on argument provided there. Right, let me read the other one. Dr. Njabulos Banda, even Bishop Lokotutu and Dr. Mutwa warned ANC of their doings. President Zuma is gifted and they will try, but they will fail. Okay, Maroti founded EFF, not Zuma. Who's Maroti, guys? I'm interested to know who's Maroti. Maroti, not Maroti. Yeah, not Msholozi. Right. Then Buteles, if the ANC lose this case, their next move is to kill Zuma. Well, what's your take about this proposition that if they lose, remember now we've got two pending judgments now. It's the judgment of today. It's also the judgment on the name, the trademark, the logo, and blah blah blah. But let me go back to the proposition that I submitted earlier on, right? You know, you must listen to how the EFF, how they think, right? EFF, the way they think, they focus on the future, right? Anything that EFF does, they focus on the future, and that is Jacob Zuma's strategy. He's more concerned about the future than the present. So he argue, and in his argument is always looking forward. So I am seeing, right, when you look at EFF, for instance, and you look at how Jacob Zuma think and how EFF think, I kind of feel the similarities, but also what worries me is the relationship that exists between EFF and MK. I'll give an example about it. The spokesperson of Jacob Zuma Foundation being Mzwandile Manyi. He is a member of EFF, right? But he's also the spokesperson of Jacob Zuma Foundation. Aha. Kalinas, he's now into FF. Where I was told that Umkweban is in Zuma camp is also in the EFF, right? And then we have seen the daughter of Jacob Zuma, Duduzile Zuma, what Sapulda, something like that. She's not afraid to post EFF, and she's not afraid to post EMK all at once, and she's not afraid to wish things to EFF, right? But then what also makes matters worse is on the birthday got Julius Malema, the only person who is into this political space who publicly praised Malema and wish him well, it is Jacob Zuma from MK. And he was already endorsing MK, campaigning for MK. Then he wished Malema a birthday. And then I looked at that and I was like, these people, they are not afraid to show their affiliation to or their friendship with the MK party, right? So that's why I personally concluded that in the next election, I am thinking, this is me just looking at the relationship, because these two political parties, they are not afraid to post one another. They are not afraid to show their relationship, right? And also, what makes me think that come next election, we're going to see the partnership of EMK as well as EFF. It is simply because from what I know Julius Malema to be, I know Julius Malema to be firm on the issue of land without expropriation. And Zuma has been forward about it, even when he was still a president. It's just that during the time of his local presidential tenure at the ANC, there was a lot of opposition inside. But I've gotten evidence where Jacob Zuma speak straightforward about the land. He's been clear that we need the land without expropriation. The land must be brought back to the kings. Kings must govern us. He has been saying that, and that there are videos, right, that I can give you during the time where he was a president, right? Even this video where Jay-Z was speaking about how white people, like he was saying that our problem started when white people landed into South Africa, when Jan van Riebeeck landed into South Africa. He has never been afraid to say we need this land back. This land will make us rich. So they need to return it. So with that being said, and you're looking at MK, generally, not general, but MK is very firm on that one. EFF is very firm on that one. So what will stop EFF and MK to work together? For me, I just see that it's going to be natural for them to work together. How do you view it? Let me read this comment, or let me read your comments. But also, guys, I will not be shocked one day to wake up and be told that, listen, by the way, Jacob Zuma was behind the formation of EFF. Man, guys, look at the brilliant minds that are behind EFF. Look at the way they think and everything. It is so amazing to see these young people. Let me call them young people, right? All of them. The way they think differently. EFF, it's got brilliant minds. Look at MK. They also think differently. MK is not old, but look at this. Now they command respect. The people that are behind MK as well. So you can see two political parties that are exciting to watch and to study. It is MK and EFF. The way they do things is all completely different. Like when you listen to Malema, for instance, have you listened to Malema in his speech? Malema always drop bombs. You understand? He has kept this thing of reminding you of things that have happened in the past. For instance, one day Malema once revealed that there's a guy on the ANC whose mission is to create propaganda. I learned it from Malema that the people who were look the June 16, what June 16, yeah. June 16th, it is Malema that once exposed that no, ANC did not agree to these people. Now they are endorsing it as if it is theirs. It is always Malema that drops this bomb, right? Like he has dropped a lot of bombs, you know what I'm saying? So you can see this. I don't know if I'm making a lot of sense to you, but I see the way he reasons, the way he talks, you know what I'm saying? It kind of makes me feel like, wow, wow, wow. But let me read your comments before I proceed. Guys, don't forget to like the video, guys. Don't forget to like the video as much as you are commenting. We are above, sometimes at some point we were almost at 180 something people watching our stream, but look at the likes, it's just 42 likes. Guys, please do the honorable thing. Let me read your comments. The last one I read was from Global News. Okay, let me just be. Oh, okay. Then if the ANC lose, wait. Then if what happened? If the ANC lose this case, their next move is to. Okay, that's our last one. Senzo Kuzwayo, why did Advocate Tembega leave the court prematurely? I didn't notice he left it prematurely. I didn't notice, eh? Because now I was asking Goti, because I saw at the end it was only that the lawyer from the IEC, which is that white guy, and then look, Utalimpov. And I'm sure they'll be like, "Hey, those words, white guys racist," but that's just the description that I can give. I don't know what's next, look, how to describe him. It's not for racist purposes, but yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. Look, Richard Masangwa Oti. Marozi is the one who gave CIC money to pay at the IEC for EFF to be registered, boss. Oh, okay, okay. No, I think I need to study more about that, guys. It's very important for me. Okay, loko umbukiso BTV at Senzo Kuzwayo, Advocate Tembega was regretting being part of the losing side. Winston Melston Otie, two brilliant legal minds. Hey, Wilson, not Wilson, Wilson. I hear you. Brighton cause I'm Sholozi wetu, utata wetu. Right. So, in today's court proceeding, we have learned a lot about this. This is my take. This is something that I will take home from what I've learned. No matter this is me studying Jacob Zuma and look at how he does things. Today's court proceeding has taught me that no matter how bad your situation is, there's always an advantage, or there's always a space or a small opportunity that you can exploit. Jacob Zuma has been a master of that. He always exploit a small opportunity. I will finish you. Just a small opportunity is going to finish you. That is what I've learned about Jacob Zuma. And let me remind you, during the time of Jacob Zuma's arrest, I was listening to a lot of of legal minds and political analysis. A lot of them never spoke about this thing called rescission, right? And if you remember very well, it was look the comments from Utalimpov. He even said, "We are the ones that made people aware that there is something called rescission." So, in other words, they were proving to us that Tina, we studied the constitution like we are studying some. I wouldn't even say studying somebody's life. They study the constitution like they are breathing. It's like if you're looking at the Jacob Zuma legal team, it's like a constitution. It's like their playbook. They always look at where is the weak point here. That's how they reason. They always wanna find a weak point and they will find it. Right. So I'm just showing you during the time of Jacob Zuma's arrest or incarceration, but just prior to that, they brought an application called rescission. A lot of people, when I don't even remember one legal minds or legal analysis or whatever talking about that. I don't remember. But those guys, they brought that into our attention that, oh, in the constitution, there is something called rescission. So these people, like when you look at how they reason, you just never know what's next. You just don't know what's next. That's what at least I've learned about Jacob Zuma. It makes sense when this guy Vustenberg, when he says Jacob Zuma is a strategist. By the way, let me remind you the words of Thabo Mbeki's brother. I forgot his name, but Mbeki's brother. He once said, and that video is here. He once said that Jacob Zuma is a smart operator. Remember when he was saying that Jacob Zuma and his team, they used to run around this country, penetrating this country around. They used to be in these neighboring countries. Remember that he was telling us about how Jacob Zuma was in Swaziland, and then he was almost caught by the apartheid government, and then he moved. You know what I'm saying? And as he moved, I think he went to Mozambique, or I think he went to Mozambique, and that's why the Tuzane's mother is from Mozambique, right? You know what I'm saying? Then he moved to Zambia, but he was always around the neighboring countries and penetrating the country. Somebody once asked this question: if you're looking at the age of Jacob Zuma's children, and somebody was like, so if you're looking at the age of the children, and you have to ask yourself a question, where look, he was at some point he was in Robben Island at this period in time. Where did he get the time to impregnate these women? So somebody was even then suggesting that he was sneaking around prison. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I'm just bringing a presupposition or an allegation. Let's call it an allegation. Somebody's allegation. Somebody alleged that the man used to do that. Yeah, okay. My stream is a bit late, guys. Let me read your comments again, because today we are working hand in hand. Me and you guys, we are working together in this one. When last did I the last comment? Okay, yes. Ubrighton cause Sholozi where to okay, I read that one. Untu underscore Mzansi Moruti Maroti, not Moroti, and then he's laughing. Untu underscore Mzansi. There is a video where Andelem Klitama was exposing Malema. Please share. I'm interested in that video. Please share. I'm interested in that video. What was it? What was he say? What were they saying there? Right? We love FF, but we wish to know. Right. So tell me, guys, again. Nanje, in your knowledge, were you expecting what was happening today? Were you impressed? Hey, in me just summarizing this video, today we're just arguing about two things. If you say Jacob Zuma served 3 months, then it's eligible to. And also, let me remind you the point that was argued. Hey, in his introduction, Dalimpov, he said that he was questioning the powers that were given to the powers that there's another point, guys, that I forgot. This one is important. That biased woman, that biased judge, that biased female judge, she became a point of a point of interest today. And I remember, guys, I remember when the statement was issued that Jacob Zuma is not going to, when they said that Jacob Zuma is not going to be on the ballot paper, somebody made an important point and said, this female judge is a biased judge. At the time, I did not understand what they were saying. But Dalembo raised that point and said, listen, she said on the media, look, she said whatever she said, I forgot the exact word, right? And just by so doing, she said that it disqualifies her to sit in a position where she will make a decision against Jacob Zuma. And then he came from this point and saying, if, for instance, you are a judge and you are asked about the AKA situation, as a judge, you answer and you say, these people are guilty. By virtue of that answer you have given, you should not sit as a judge in that case because already you are biased. Let me also qualify that before I read your comments on this one. Let me qualify that, guys. In the case of Omotoso, yeah, you remember that guy, that pastor who will sleep with women, not inverted commas, guys, sorry. That pastor who will sleep with women and pray for them while he's busy abusing them, right? You remember that pastor Omotoso? Yes. Do you remember that the judge there was recused? Guess why? Because the people that were testifying will sleep in a guest house owned by his wife. Just by that, it meant that this judge is biased. And you like it? So, advocate Dalimpov argued there to say she had made pronouncement and found him guilty already. She can't therefore sit in a board that is to decide Jacob Zuma's fate because already now we know. Hey, what's your take about that, Judge? Guys, I'm interested to hear your thought and your opinion about it. Because people pointed out that long time ago, but I did not pay attention to say, hey man, this woman, why are, in fact, at first I did not understand why people are against this woman. But it turns out that today it became a subject of a conversation. Let me read your comments. I just want to hear. Well, I'll come back and touch this one, right? Somebody says Alfred Chanding. I said it before. Advocate Dalimpov, Advocate Moses Kakan, and Judge John Thorpe are some of the best legal minds in the country this country has ever seen. I get you, Alfred. Goodman Zulu. So ela ivutiwe bhuti. Let's hope Jay-Z will be allowed. But as for me, he needs to oversee everything under the MK leadership so they can do better even on local elections. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get you. I get you 110%. But guys, I'm interested to hear your thoughts and your opinion about the fact that that judge who's now working with the IEC, because of her pronouncement, and also she has presided over, I think, a case that Jacob Zuma before, where, you know what I'm saying? So, because of her utterances, she is not going to look, she must recuse herself because already she is biased. What's your take about that? You know, like I said, I've heard people raising that when the IEC made that point, but to me, it did not click. I did not follow history to say, why are people so concerned about the behavior of this woman? I did not take note of that. But until then, until today, where it raised it in court, that's when I was like, wow, okay. Now I see it makes sense. Let me read this comment. Untu underscore Mzansi uti. Oh, the comment has been deleted. What happened? Yeah, he deleted his comment. All right, I was just looking at the last comments that are appearing on my screen. Right. Remind me if there's something that I'm forgetting here. And then my stream is a bit late. I don't know. Yeah, I'm still trying to check here, but my stream is a bit late, and I cannot understand why is my stream late. Now, here's another question for consideration, right? Let's say for argument's sake, Jacob Zuma loses. Yeah, so he's not going to be on the ballot paper. I remember I brought this proposition or this submission to say, wait, there are people, right, that you'll find that the ANC has got their funders and all the stuff. You'll find that certain decisions are not necessarily made by ANC, but they are implemented by ANC. So the people that govern or the people that have power, you'll find that they are not in politics. And the person that once said that is Mcebo. When he was questioning Ramaphosa, he said, if Ramaphosa has got all the monies that he's said to have or to own, then why is he in politics? because he says that people who have money, they influence decisions. They are not going to participate politically, but they will influence decision. With that being said, it leads me to this point. Would you have a problem if Jacob Zuma was to sit behind and influence decisions behind? Because now I've just demonstrated that it is possible for a rich person to influence decision and never be at the forefront of these political parties, but they take orders from the funders of that political parties. Look, we've seen it happening, right? Remember that in South Africa, there's a complaint that South Africa is ruled by a private sector because they're the ones that are funding these political parties. So they make the laws. When I all think that the laws are being made by your political parties, no, the laws are being made by the people behind the scenes. So I'm saying, would you have a problem if Jacob Zuma was to sit behind the scene and influence things from look behind the scene? Let's say he's not on the ballot paper, right? Will you have a problem if he was to sit there and influence and guide these people from there and be like, okay, this is how we're gonna do it. This is what we're not gonna do it, right? Will you have a problem, right? Will that affect whether or not you are going to vote for MK? Does your vote depend on Jacob Zuma being on the ballot paper, or it depends on Jacob Zuma being part and parcel, or let me say, it depends on Jacob Zuma being influential in the look in MK? Which one? You understand? The one on the left where he's actually on the ballot paper, he goes to parliament, or the other one where he doesn't go to parliament, but he sits behind the scene, even not behind the scene, let me say, but let's say behind the scene. He guides them as to how to govern the country. And one of the things that makes us remember him very well, it is because of the crisis that we are faced with. He appointed Machela Koko and Brian Mlife ESCOM when there was a problem of load shedding. It took them just 5 months to solve that problem, right? And as for me, I'm looking at this load shedding that is said to be persisting. I'm saying with inverted commas is persisting because people can solve that thing. So I'm saying maybe if you bring him into this political scheme, chances are he's going to solve that problem. But let me hear what people are going to say about it. Right? We love FF, but we wish to know. Okay. And look, underscore Mzansi, I will look. I will in the comment section. Alfred, Alfred. Uthi, I said it before. Okay, no, we read that one. Goodman Zulu, so you tell you, I read that one. Tulani Mshengo, our Zuma will look with this legal team, they will win. Viva MK, Viva. Umbugiso BTV. Why are they so interested in removing Jay-Z instead? They should let us, the voters, decide. N.R. Mandela was from prison when he became the president after being voted for parliament. Why using this against him? Oh, that's what that is another interesting part. Mandela became a president, but he was from prison. He came directly from prison and he became. What was the exception there? That's another thing that we should explore. Wow. What what was the justification there? Because I mean the constitution was still there. So what were how maybe let me say look, I'm not a legal expert. Let me maybe say the laws to prohibit a person whether they are going to vote or not were not there. You know, I'm just making an example. Maybe, but you are bringing a very valid point. Why, Vel? That's another interesting one. Eh? I never thought of it that way. But let's continue. Uh, okay. Look. Okay. So look. Uthandwa Sibisi, even if he's not on the ballot paper, I will vote for MK. Right. That is Uthandwa Sibisi. For Uthandwa Sibisi, where look, the decision whether or not to vote MK is not necessarily dependent on whether Jacob Zuma will be on the ballot paper or not. It's just dependent on the fact that MK is on the ballot paper and Jacob Zuma is affiliated with MK. Then he's gonna vote for MK. Nenantin. Yeah, guys, Ibo. 65 likes. Hi guys, hi guys, hi guys, hi guys, hi guys. We've got a lot of people watching us live, right? So yeah, but nobody has commented on the issue of that judge which has been accused of being biased. I'm interested in picking your brain concerning that judge that has been accused of being biased, right? What are you guys saying about that judge which is accused of being biased? There was another judge not long ago that was that this judge was judge who that is known to be against Jacob Zuma, right? He was recently brought back into, I think, in the Constitutional Court or whatever, something like that. And a lot of people question that judge as well. And then let me bring this one as well. Somebody I read in the news that the reason why Judge Shaw seems to be, look, is being impeachment and all the stuff, it is simply because of his affiliation to Jacob Zuma. So I think I read it on Daily Maverick where they were talking about people that are supporting Jacob Zuma and how they are suffering and being removed into power. You understand? They even look in that article they are referred to as Zuma zombies, right? That's how that's how they refer to them. I'm checking myself here. Look, the visuals are delayed, and I don't know why. But it's okay as long as you guys can hear me loud and clear. Guys, the likes, the likes, the likes, the likes, the likes. The likes are not make sure, guys. The likes are not make sure. So please, guys, please, let's do the honorable thing on this one. Yeah, I'm trying by all means to pick your brain on that issue. And it appears like nobody's interested to comment on the issue of the judge. Let me see, maybe people have commented because I'm interested to pick your brain on that one. What do you guys think of it? Okay. Do underscore Mzansi uthi if even if MK put a red no, look, even if MK puts a red on the ballot paper, we are voting MK. As long as we get MK. Even if they put a red that comes from MK, we will vote for MK. That's what this guy is saying. All right, I think even B wins, Jacob Zuma will be an elder, right? So what's your take? What do you think he will be an elder? Do you mean like he will remain influential? He will work with everybody behind the scene, right? Is that what you are referring to? Because I think the word elders most of the time when you used even when Malema is referring to the ANC people behind the scene, he refers to them as the elders. You understand? The guys that are behind the scenes that we don't get to know, the guys that are thinking and being the brains of ANC, he referred to them as the elders of the ANC. Right? So are you saying that Jacob Zuma will be the elder, meaning will be the brain behind the scene, driving the narrative, driving the vision, driving the objectives and the goals, and mentoring other people because he's old. We can't run away from the fact that he needs to mentor young people so when he die, at least his leadership style continues. Is that what you are saying? If I'm correctly understanding you, probably reading my last few comments. Guys, comment because now I'm reading your last few comments before I say my goodbyes. I've been impressed. I've been impressed by today's proceeding, guys. For the first time, I just see that one needs to have money. Did you notice that if you've got money, your case get argued by better lawyers, and better lawyers comes prepared? Let's give credit to Abu Dalimbov because Ever since I saw him presenting these cases, there's one thing that Malema once said, that black lawyers don't prepare. But I want to give credit to Dalimpov, guys. This guy prepared. This guy, he comes prepared. You understand? And there's something that I've noticed. Did you notice that Jacob Zuma is usually using black lawyers? Why? He hardly used a white lawyer. Probably he did back then, but of lately, Jacob Zuma uses black lawyers. Why? Is that intentional even then? I didn't tell Kuruman guys. Because to me, I'm looking at that, I'm like, wow, these black lawyers, Jacob Zuma always uses black lawyers. Then not long ago, he was with the Mabuza Ateni, Skakane, and of lately, it's been Dalimpov. But you find black lawyers arguing his cases there, right? Uh, yeah, those are some of the things that I heard today. Wow, Minanjit guys, I was impressed. I'm just reading your last comments. Okay. Utige, Tambatsela, Jay-Z only need to decide after the elections whether to lead from partly or just as a leader of the NEC. And that's what I mean by elder. Thank you very much, Temba, for clarification. I get you. I get you. Umbugiso BTV. The aim of her to be biased. She thought people will move away from MK if Zuma is not allowed to be on the ballot paper. She was not aware of the tsunami called MKP. They are shivering. Goodman Zulu, our South African politics are very exciting and challenging now. I was personally removed from the government tender after Jacob Zuma was booted off from the presidency. Judges are biased and end of the story. Yay! There's another person that I need to interview. Goodman Zulu. I've got a channel where I speak. Look, I want to interview people who are into business and people who are pursuing academics. Now that you've been running this thing of tenders and all the stuff, you'll be the right person to talk to. I'm really interested in interviewing guys, people that are pursuing business. So if you are one of them, why don't you know what I'm saying? Do the right thing, man. Just give me a look. Write me an email there. Or alternatively, on Twitter at Bongan underscore Masugu 5. On Instagram, Bongan underscore Masugu 5. You'll find me there. Just leave a comment there, right? Do underscore Dan Dokumzanze Uti. What you say about EFF pushing Zuma's for resignation? I will think. Remember that in politics they say there's no permanent enemy, there's no permanent friend. So I will think it was just a political strategy. But at the end of the day, remember that Malema once said that he does not have a personal war with this guy, the current president, Ramaphosa. But he said that politically we disagree. And he says that look, he was speaking about his friendship with Mbalula. He says that we are friends, but politically we agree. They are saying. So, in other words, they are saying we are professionals. We can agree or we can disagree on a topic, right? But we can we can still talk to each other and greet each other as if nothing happened. I think I'm just saying it could be that it was just on political ground. We're going to disagree with you, but we can still be friends anyway. We can still talk to each other, right? It's my presupposition. Anyway, I'm closing this live stream right now. We have reached the end of it. We have reached the end of it. Utindu underscore and take the land. Guys, I'll see you, Mina, on the next episode. We've pushed this live stream to an hour and 4 minutes. And for that, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you for watching my live stream. Till the next